Omnipotent economists and the carnage they wreck. Yesterday, I talked about the Bill Parcells statement, "You are what your record says you are." I should have given it a caveat, unless, of course, you are an economist, where you can be wrong. Always. You could be wrong on everything and anything that you say, but if you have the right degrees flying on the wall and you know the right people, you're fine. You got tenure, you're good. You could just continue to be wrong forever. Imagine that. Imagine having a job, a high-paying job, a cushy job where you cannot get fired, where you could just screw up at everything that you do and it doesn't matter. You are omnipotent. Anyway, a lot of economists coming out again. Oh, yeah, for Kamala Harris and her economic plan. Well, they all came out for the Biden-Harris Build Back Better plan and said that it would ease inflationary pressures. They said it. It was going to ease inflationary pressures. How'd that work out? These same economists are saying the same thing today. And sure enough, and quite frankly, shame on the Wall Street Journal that they still keep this guy. They still pay this guy. This guy writes columns, a Princeton professor, writes columns for the Wall Street Journal. And I get it. You got Paul Krugman, Princeton economist, that writes for the New York Times. But the Wall Street Journal? I mean, fine, if he wants to submit articles, anybody can do that. But you pay this guy? Alan Blinder, who has, I challenge anybody who's listening to this right now to come up with a point that he's made that has been right on anything, ever. Harris easily beats Trump on economic policy. I was thinking about Alan Blinder, and Gordon Gekko came to mind. You remember the scene in Wall Street where Cromwell is losing money on a stock? Well, what is he doing? Giving a lecture series. He's losing, I forget how much money, every quarter of a point. God, this turkey's totally brain dead. If he owned a funeral parlor, nobody would die. Great line by Gordon Gekko, but that's pretty much Alan Blinder. And he honestly, I can't even believe they printed this. I can't even believe they printed this. Economic policies. And again, he spends time talking about Trump and healthcare, Trump and some of the issues with tariffs. I get that. But again, they don't add up, not to mention the fact that Biden and Harris used the same Trump tariff policies. And then most of the thing has to do with climate change and the fact that Kamala Harris is doing a great job on climate change. And we need to reduce CO2. Shut up, man. Just shut up. That ship has sailed. Again, I don't know how. I don't know how these people. I mean, he's a Princeton professor. I mean, so sometimes say you're stupid or you're a liar. You're a Princeton professor. One just assume that you got some level of intelligence. So that means you're just a liar. How do you look yourself in the mirror every single day? I don't know how people do it, quite frankly. He ends his column. Oh, I can go on. He gave nothing. No examples of any Kamala Harris economic policy, even though that the title of the column is Harris beats Trump on economic policies. He says, I've run out of space. He actually put that in his column, the Wall Street Journal. I could go on, but I've run out of space. It's pathetic, and it's across the board. A quick side note, this was an economist. Yesterday, the governor of New Jersey, Will Murray, was on Squawk Box, and he made an absolute fool out of himself. Joe Kernan listed a bunch of Kamala Harris policies and asked Governor Murphy which one he supported, and he couldn't answer. He couldn't answer. He just talked around all of the questions. Again, that's who these people are. It is what it is. I'll say it. Journal said it again today. You're voting for Kamala Harris. I guess you're voting for Obama's fourth term. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.